Okay, what's up, people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. Welcome. As always, guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course, hit the bell whilst you're at it. It really does help out, and of course, keeps you in the loop of things. Make sure you do check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. Link to that at the top of the chat, and also you can find it in the description below. You can join the Discord completely free, chat with other traders, including myself. I share updates there as well. So if you're looking for that sort of information, check it out. And of course, you can find out a bit more about elevating traders as well. So if you are interested, make sure you head over and check that out. But guys, welcome back to another stream. Guten Morgen. Right back at you, Will. Hope you're doing well. Manzondi, what is up? Morning. Hope you're well. Himanshu, what is up? Yes, I'll go for USD markets first, including pound USD and Euro USD. We'll take a look at some indices afterwards, and then I'll go for Euro pound as well. Philip, good morning. Hope you're doing good. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Bitcoin made me laugh to the bank. I don't think it will stop. Yeah, Bitcoin was surprising yesterday. We were looking very bearish on the stream, but then price completely turned around. And it looks like that same support level we were talking about yesterday looks like it's holding very well, actually, especially on the daily chart. And we didn't get that daily close. I said, keep an eye for that daily close. If the daily close is below, we're breaking out. If not, we might still bounce and Bitcoin can still be strong. But yeah, it was a very interesting day yesterday for Bitcoin. We'll go take a look at it. I'll go through USD markets first, and then we'll go through indices and some crypto as well. Good morning, Blessing. Euro yen, we'll take a look as well. Will, Euro yen a bit tricky for now. Yes, we have a bit of retracement for the yen pairs. We'll go through that as well. Let me just get the USD markets out of the way. So yeah, USD still overall bullish. It looks like we've had a bit of retracement on the lower time frames, as we can see, a bit of a dip. Overall, I'm expecting a bigger pullback at some point. The market's not going to go in a straight line forever. We've had an exceptional breakout of this range in the weekly chart. So in my book, we're definitely due a pullback at some point. How big that pullback will be, of course, we will only find out when it happens. But I do expect to see a bit of a dip for the DXY. We're not going to go just straight bullish on the weekly chart to the high. We could do, but the chances are we're going to have a correction. So I'm getting ready for that. And of course, looking at euro shorts, pound shorts, dollar CAD longs. And when I do see some healthy corrections, hopefully I can find some entries to take advantage of that. But at the moment, it looks like we're having a retest of the high here. I said I want to see a much bigger breakout before I would consider a retest of that high. This breakout was great, but just not big enough for me to look for the retest. Doesn't mean it won't hold and send price higher. I want to see price really push to the upside. Then I'll be looking for the pullback into that area. For now, I'm still liking, excuse me. For now, I'm still liking this level back here, which is around 108,500. If we have a bigger pullback, that'll be great, because then pound USD will have a bigger pullback, euro have a bigger pullback, dollar CAD hopefully as well, because euro, pound, Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, those guys are still very stretched to the downside. There's a bit of a retracement in the lower time frames, but in the bigger picture, that overall still very bearish and haven't seen much upside. So before I do look for any swing trades, I do need to see some healthy upside before I can get in. Something like this would look good. Even deeper, really, even if we come back to that area, I think that's still a nice place for a buy. Talking about this area a couple of weeks ago, never had the retest, but who knows, maybe do get a bigger pullback. We've, of course, got the prior daily high there as well, around 108, 107.8. So there are some areas where USD can pull back to. Now, of course, if the market's going to stay bullish, like I said, we could just retest the high and be on our way. And from an intraday setup, I think this is still a good trade, because from intraday, looking to ride the momentum for the day or for the week, and that is still very much bullish. So it's a decent pullback and could very much see some upside in the next few hours there. Maybe coming to the New York session, we could see price kind of bounce off that area. At the moment, we're kind of a little bit sideways, but yeah, still looking for a deeper pullback, but overall very bullish on the dollar. So of course, taking that information into euro, still very bearish. Again, it looks like we had a bit of a relief, but overall, I want to see a much bigger pullback than that, because I'm expecting much lower prices. Still looking for 0.96, 0.97. down at those lows. So in my book, there's still a long way to go for us. But I do want to see a much bigger retracement. As I suggested yesterday, I do like this area here. Price support on the 4-hour chart, really nice bounce again. We broke through, broke back above, broke back below. Price wasn't really respecting this level. So hopefully we now can see that retracement into this zone, respect that level as resistance, just like we were doing as support. See the next lower high in this bearish sequence. So high over there, lower high, lower high, lower high, so on and so forth. And then we get the continuation back to lows and further as well. So yeah, I'm liking Euro USD to the downside. Just want to see a bit more upside for Euro, a bit more downside for the dollar for retracement. But I'm still expecting lower prices. There is a world where we do have an even bigger pullback because this is still our last major high in the market, which broke these lows and gave us new lows. So you could even see a pullback in respect to that high, and then another drop as well. So I'm kind of keeping one eye on something like that forming over the next couple of weeks as well. But for now, still a lot of momentum in the market. We are still pretty overextended. So I do think a bigger pullback will happen at some point. But yeah, still looking at shorts for Euro. Pound USD, same situation as well. In fact, this one's even more bearish than Euro. This one's just been sliding off a cliff the past few days. You can see the lower highs here on the 4-hour chart. Haven't been messing around. So again, for Pound USD, I want to see a bigger pullback. I like this level of support here, back at 1.25, really healthy level of support. Rejected the once, big push, twice, big push. Again, similar to Euro, broke below, broke above, broke back below. So we weren't really respecting that area. So it would be nice for price to go and do that. Give us that bigger pullback, go and test that same level. And from there, we could have a really nice drop and continuation of the trend. Again, this is still our last major high in the market. So if I whip out the fib from that high, we've got the 50, which is just below that level, 0.618, just above. So it would be a really healthy retracement for us to get into that area and see the next drop. In terms of the daily chart, we have taken out some more major lows like this one on the left. So I do expect us to hit the next big level, which is this area here, which we just missed on Monday. So yeah, still expecting more downside for pound, but do you want to see a much bigger pullback? And hopefully we can get it over the next few days. If not, the market might just keep sliding. So yeah, that's kind of my take on pound USD. Dollar CAD, same situation as well. Actually, no, this one's a bit more choppy. It's trading within a range, but same situation in terms of I'm still looking for that bigger pullback. I still like this area here. I know we are nowhere near this level, but should price get there, I will be looking for longs. And again, same targets back to highs and further. Spoken a lot about the weekly level up here, which is the longer term target for dollar CAD. Still not too far away. Still expect price to go and hit that level. But first, let's see if we can have a bigger pullback. If not, can always keep an eye on the breaking retest of the high. Should we see a sufficient breakout of this range with some powerful momentum breaking the highs, there could be a really nice retest there just to keep riding that momentum on the 4-hour hourly, maybe even lower time frames to find some entries to really maximize your risk to reward there. But again, opportunities favoring more upside for dollar CAD back to 1.46, which is that weekly zone. But it would be nice to get a bit of retracement because again, if we expand to even the daily chart, really, you can see how stretched the market is. When's the last time we had a move that big without a retracement? You probably say that's a pretty big move, but look what happened after. Price sold off pretty heavily. That was a pretty big move down. See what happened, big push up. This was COVID, but even that had such a hard sell-off as well. That was a really big move, but you can see what happened afterwards, a push up. So we do have these moves occasionally, big buys, big sells, whatever, but the market does correct itself after a while. So I do expect to see that, and hopefully I can find the buys on that bounce there. So that's still what I'm looking at for dollar CAD. Aussie dollar, very bearish on this one too. But again, we've taken out some major daily, weekly lows here from 2022. So again, I can't really be looking to sell Aussie dollar anymore. Not necessarily looking to jump into buys, but I need that retracement if I want to keep shorting. Because I do think eventually we will push to the COVID lows here. And the reason I say that is because if you look at the higher time frame trend, the market's been falling for quite a while. So there's a good chance that this is our next lower high in comparison to that high there, which gave us the low. So there's a good chance price is going to go and at least test that low again. So that's why I'm expecting price to get back to the COVID lows eventually. But again, that could still take a while. We could retrace, the major lower high, push down again. So it might not even be for another whole year, maybe even longer until we get there. So not necessarily thinking about that too much. But yeah, now that we've taken out this low, do you want to see some upside for dollar CAD? And in terms of where I want to short again, it is this low here. Really nice support, broke through very well. Haven't really come back to retest as resistance. So I'm hoping we can see a lot more upside now for Aussie dollar and then get the next low high and the continuation back to lows, and we'll see how far we can take it. That's still the idea I have for Aussie dollar. And New Zealand dollar, pretty much the same situation as well, except we haven't taken out the major lows just yet. So if I go to the weekly chart, again, you've got the lows here, haven't quite taken it out just yet, but still looking for a bigger pullback. I like the low here. Be nice if price can come back, retest that, then continue. Market's still very stretched, so I don't want to be shorting in these prices. Not that you can't, but you're not necessarily looking for a big move. So you want to be looking at lower time frames, looking for those reactions, and taking your profits at sensible areas, because we are still very corrective. Good chance, yes, we could sell off, but as we push the low, probably will push back up again. So if you're looking for a bigger swing, you'd see a bigger pullback. And a retest of that area would be very, very nice, similar to the Aussie dollar setup. Of course, they're very similar pairs in general anyway, so they tend to do the same thing. So yeah, it would be nice to see a bigger pullback into that area, find the next high, and then of course short it back down to the prior lows. And of course, you got your lovely gold and silver. Gold and silver pretty bearish yesterday. Nice drop there. I did say some buys could look good on the retest of the high here, and we did have a slight bounce there. Hasn't really set the world alight, but we might be looking for a double bottom here. So if we can get another rejection there, I do think that's a nice place for a buy still. Now, I'm not over the moon. I'm not excited about the price action with gold, really, as for one major reason, because price is still within this range. So I tend to stay away when price is in the middle of a range. Sure, when it's at the bottom or at the high of the range, there can be opportunities there. But in the middle, I try to stay away because that's where you get the most fluctuation, the most chaos in the market. So yeah, consistency in there is a lot harder in general. So it's a nice place for a bounce. The market has been putting in higher lows, and we could be looking at another one forming. And if it does play out, you're looking at a pretty decent risk reward. If you can probably drop to like maybe the 30-minute or the hourly for entries back to the high there, then if you're successful, probably back to the high there as well. So I do favor upside for this structure to continue at least back to the high of the range. But really what I'm looking for is gold to break the high and hopefully some longs above that to ride it back into the all-time high, which is up here at 27.89, 27.90. So that's something I'm really looking for. I spoke about the buys on the retest of this low, but price is nowhere near that. So not going to speak too much about that. This is probably the more realistic buy. Breakout, retest, continuation. Very, very simple stuff. So that's what I'm waiting for gold and for silver. Looking for buys as well. Lovely double bottom from 2-3 weeks ago. Nice push to the upside. However, we had a pretty aggressive sell. So again, I'm looking for those high lows to start printing, and then I'll hopefully find the next one to get involved with, because maybe the market still wants to trend lower. This is a lower high. This could be another one, and we could see another drop. If the market does put a higher low in, that tells me, okay, things are changing. And if I can find the next one somewhere, maybe the retest of the high, hopefully I can look to ride a breakout and a possible swing to the upside, because the bigger move for silver is still very much impulse correction, looking for another impulse back to the high. So that's why I'm still very bullish on silver, still actively looking to buy it, just waiting for a good setup to do so, which isn't quite there yet. But should we form a higher low here, break the high as well, I will start looking for the next pullback to get involved and take that to the upside. And yeah, guys, that's kind of really where I'm at with USD. Still very bullish on the dollar, looking for some pullbacks to get some opportunities. Otherwise, yeah, not looking too good in terms of finding track. Again, on the lower time frames, there will be a lot more opportunities there because you're trying to ride smaller moves. I still think there are some nice trades in the lower time frames, but if you're looking for a bigger swing, of course, you need to see bigger pullbacks, which I think will be happening soon, but we have to be patient. Anyway, I'll go through some indices. I'll go take a look at NAS, and then we'll go through Bitcoin. And I'll take a look at Euro Yen as well. Good morning, Ahmed. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Darkashon, what is up? Good morning. Hope you're doing good. Smoked twice yesterday. GJ didn't take consideration volume. Oh, okay. Whichever came today, everything looks dead till this hour. Okay, I'll take a look at GJ as well. But yeah, not every day is going to be the best day in the world. You know, that's the reality of trading. You will take L's, you will take W's. It's just basically the maths. You know, it's just some of your wins more than some of your losses, and over time, that's going to give you an equity curve pointing up, which is the most important thing. So yeah, as long as you followed your plan well, did what you meant to do. Maybe, of course, you've made a mistake, which we will do from time to time. You're not going to be perfect throughout your trading career. You will make mistakes. As long as you understand where you went wrong, you can always correct that in the future. But the key thing is just managing the risk, because if you bet your whole account on one trade and then you messed up there ain't no coming back from that. So if it's a small portion of your account, you can always come back from that. Chris, what is up? I'm doing good. Hope you're well. EuroCHF. Yeah, EuroCHF is playing up a little bit. We're looking a little bit bullish this morning. I'll go through it in a second, but first let me go through some earlier requests. So I'll go through NAS, Bitcoin, Euro Yen, and GJ. So US 100, last time I looked, was actually looking a little bit bullish. Yeah, it looks like we're breaking back above support. So I'm not quite sold on NAS just yet. It is a nice sign to see, though, that we are breaking back above the support level very well. Because I said yesterday I was pretty bearish, but if we did break back above support, we do it impulsively, I may look to turn my bias around. And we kind of did that. I would probably want it a little bit more impulsive than that. But we are slowly creeping above. So I think the buys still look good back above the area of support, of course. But I'll still be very wary of these lower highs. 1, 2, 3. We could very much form a fourth and then still get the bigger move to the downside. So with NAS 100, I think it's a decent level of support for a buy. Because of course we've seen two prior really good reactions there, and this looks like a fake of that level. So any prior stop losses gone. Now that we're back above support again, can definitely use this as support for another bounce, but I would still be wary of those lower highs. Potentially the bigger move is to the downside for a counter trend move, bigger correction. Of course, the bigger move is going to be to the upside eventually, but maybe the market wants to correct itself a little bit, have a deeper correction before we do continue in that bullish trend. So I'd watch out for that a lot for NAS. I think now that we are back above 2750, which is that level of support, buys look good. And yeah, I would look to at least ride it back to kind of this trend lined area here. So this kind of area around 21,300. And that's the time I would probably start being a little bit careful, seeing how price reacts. And if we do react, can look to lock in some gains, trade a stop loss, or just close the trade. That'll be up to you in terms of your trade management. But yeah, that's what I'd watch out for NAS. I think we're doing something similar for the S&P as well. Yeah, S&P back above support as well, reacted pretty well above that same level. So again, we could see some more upside, but equally, we are forming these lower highs we need to be careful of, and could still form another one as well. So I'd watch out for S&P, watch out for NAS. These lower highs are still pretty persistent and could send us down. If we do break through that counter trend line, then of course, there's that possibility for push back to highs. But yeah, I'll watch out for that for S&P and NAS. In terms of euro pound, now I'll take a look at Bitcoin. So euro pound looking very bullish. Yeah, I was looking to buy euro pound. I still am looking to buy euro pound, but not too sure if we'll get the pullback back into this area here at 0.83250. Yeah, not too sure if we'll get the push back into that level there. So I mean, I still would be looking for opportunities there for the buy. So if we connect the trend lines there very well, we've got the first point here, second point there, third point there as well. It would make a load of sense if you can get another retest of that area, not only retesting really strong support, but of course, we've got some trend line confluence there as well. And we're seeing some high lows, starting to stack to the upside. So I'm very bullish on euro pound. Of course, I've spoken about the reason many times because of where we're trading in the higher time frames. This is a very solid monthly level of support where I know we can definitely see some upside from. Whether we get a full move back to the highs there or it's just a little move before we break out, of course, we'll find out when it happens. But it's definitely an area where higher time frame, bigger players in the market will be looking to buy and also take positions off from their sells as well. So there's a good chance for a reaction, which looks like we are seeing. So still looking for the buys here for euro pound. Someone mentioned sells for euro pound. Do I think euro pound will still come down? I have no idea. Again, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. All I can do as a trader is map out areas which I want to buy and sell from and wait to see if price will get there, react how I want it to, and take trades. Will it come down? Maybe. Will it keep going up? Maybe. We don't know that. All I can say is that this area of confluence looks good. If I can find some entries there, great. And I'll look to take my trades there. But whether it will come down or not, I have no idea if it will. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. So yeah, Bitcoin was interesting, very interesting, looking very interesting at the moment right now. Because on stream, I believe we were trading in this candle. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we're trading that candle, looking very, very bearish. It looks like we were about to break the lows, but I said wait for that daily candle to close, and that will tell us the story. At the moment in time, the daily was creeping below. It did look really bearish at the time, and price might be breaking through. But by the end of the day, the market pulled all the way back, left behind a really big wick, and that just told the story of price not successfully breaking through support. It's still intact. In fact, even with this big wick, that any prior stop losses in this area, they're gone. So this is a great time to find some entries and put your stop loss underneath there. You can probably have it a little bit tighter, to be honest, but there will give you enough room. If price is going to take that stop loss, it probably is going to break to the downside anyway. So a stop loss underneath that wick would be very, very safe. And yeah, if it does play out, I still do expect to see Bitcoin push back to the highs there at 108K and, of course, potentially a lot higher. If Bitcoin did break through that level of support at 92K, then we had that 73K level there, which is pretty long way down, to be honest, for Bitcoin. So it would have been a pretty big move, but I have to say, price is doing a very good job at respecting support very well right now. And price could definitely turn around and suddenly it be bullish again. And speaking on Ethereum as well, we had a similar move. Price was very bearish. I said I was expecting price to get back down to this support yesterday. And we just about more or less got there. Maybe missed it by a small amount, but more or less got to that area, spiked all the way back up. And now I wouldn't be too surprised if you still go and fill this wick to the downside. Now, I'm not as convinced with upside with Ethereum as I am with Bitcoin. If this wick here spiked through the zone, then yeah, I do think we'll go for a nice bounce. I didn't quite do that, so I'm not as quite sold with Ethereum there. But yeah, a Bitcoin holding on to support very well. It could see some upside back to highs now that we are respecting that level. Yeah, Philip, you said don't think it will stop till it hits 98,335. Is that the all-time high? I mean, all-time high. What am I on about? I thought it said 108,335. Yeah, I think it will stop until 98,335. Where is that? 98,335. Okay, that's around here somewhere. Enter that 91. What do you think? Okay, so you're in a long. Yeah, I think it looks good. I think your target's in a pretty realistic place as well. You're not necessarily asking for too much there from Bitcoin. 98,335 is more or less around there. Not too far away from there, to be honest. So yeah, entry 91K, you said. We're around here somewhere. You're looking very, very good. I think the key thing to note with Bitcoin's price action, it's not like it's slowly pushing up. it's pushing up with some aggressive momentum here. We're seeing some really healthy candlesticks here, and sizable ones as well. So it looks like momentum's completely shifted, especially after such a strong move down, because that would have definitely attracted a lot of sellers with that candlestick. And the fact that prices reversed out, left behind a really aggressive wick as well. This is really bullish behavior from Bitcoin, I must say, at this support level. So I think that there's a very high chance we get to 98,335. And as I said, I'm still looking for a price to get back to the all-time high, really. So I do think we'll get to area and probably further as well. But yeah, looking good now, looking good. Okay, so I'll go through Euro Yen. I'll take a look at Euro CHF, and then I'll just pretty much go through the yen pairs together. Of course, I'll start with GJ as well. We'll look at it on the 5-minute as well. Let's go long NAS right now. Do you think today's people will bring it down or up? Again, I'm not a fortune teller, my man. I can't tell you if people trading today will take price up or down. If I had the answer to that, I'll be a multi-trillionaire by now. All I can give you is realistic expectations of what the market could do next, but it's based on analysis, which again is nothing guaranteed. Whether price will close up or down in the day is I can give you my best guess, but that's about it. Like I said, for NAS, it's holding on to some very decent levels of support, which actually did break through, but it has recovered. It has recovered very well, especially with that daily wick there. So I do think upside looks good here for NAS now that we're back above 2,800. As long as we stay above that level, I do like the buys, but I'd watch out for this area. So for NAS, I would be looking at something like this. But of course, if the market gets back below this level again, I will no longer be bullish. At that point, you probably see the market sell off. So if we do break back below this level, that bullish bias disappears. If we can stay above, then yeah, I do expect to see a move to the upside for NAS. But yeah, if price breaks below, I will switch my bias around. Okay, so I'll go through Euro Yen. So yeah, Euro JPY. This one is looking interesting because we've seen some upside. It's close to an area where I said I'll be looking for pullbacks too, and I am looking for pullbacks here for Euro Yen. I am still looking for a move to the downside. It looks to me that Euro Yen's just reacting with this area here. This is the area where price saw a lot of momentum, gave us a new high, and technically is still our prior higher low, which gave us the higher high. So price could still react here and possibly fly to the upside. That is a possibility. But I'm still looking at these lower highs, and I'm still looking at another lower high forming somewhere around this region. If I whip out the fib from the high to the low, I'm looking for price to come a little bit higher back into this area here. And then I'm looking for the sell for the next lower high. And I'm looking to take price right back down to this area here. Of course, at least back to the prior low. That's what I look to probably secure my trade. But I will be looking to trail stops and really trying to see if I can take it far. And that will be the next big target. But yeah, price has had a bit of a reaction now for Euro Yen. And I like it because it means a pullback. I'm expecting more downside for Euro Yen. Again, originally I was looking for Euro Yen to come back to the high, which is 166.693, back at the high there. I was looking for a big double top and then the sell, but it looks like we might be getting that a little bit lower than expected. So the shorts that I was once looking for up there still could be a possibility 100% if price does something like that and continues from that area. Of course, I'll be looking at sells up there again. That's not the situation we've got right now. So I am looking at a lower high for a drop. Nice bounce there, but I'm just looking at that as a pullback for now. So still very bearish on Euro Yen and still very focused on 162.5 for some shorts. And yeah, I'll be looking for entries on the 4-hour chart. So yeah, very, very bearish on Euro Yen still. Euro CHF, this one is messing around. Currently in a short for this one. Entry from last week, held it over the weekend. Was in some nice profit, but price did turn around there pretty aggressively. As I said yesterday, I'm still going to hold this position as long as we can hold this level of resistance. We've done pretty well respecting this area a few times. 1, 2, 3 there, a bit of a fake out, but overall the market has respected it well. If I scoot to the daily chart as well, you can see numerous wicks into that level. So price has done a good job of respecting that level. And as long as we can hold that, I will remain bearish. Close above, I'll probably exit the trade early. But again, the idea of Euro CHF is still looking for the continuation of this trend. We've had numerous lower highs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And all I'm looking to do is try and catch the next one. If price wants to break structure and push the upside, then of course I'll just switch my bias around at that point, and then I'll be expecting more upside. I would still be long-term bearish for Euro CHF because we still do have these major highs here, but it just means that we might just be having a bigger pullback to go and retest the trend line again, and then maybe see another big sell. So yeah, that's kind of my take on Euro CHF. But at the moment in time, there's nothing really for me to do with my trade other than just wait and see and manage the position. If we can still respect the high and fall, great. I'll be looking to lock in some gains once we take up the low there. And then, of course, targets will be down here. But if we do push back above and take out the resistance, I'll close the trade early. Because at that point, my level I'm backing to hold is no longer holding. So unless we come back below the level, I'll kind of stay away. But for now, I'm going to see how that goes in a little bit of drawdown. But yeah, still respecting the area, so the trade is still definitely valid. Okay, so I'll go through. Is there any other requests to look at before I go through the yen pairs? Okay, so I'll go through EuroCAD and Litecoin, and then I'll go through the yen pairs together. What's up, Tom? Hope you're well. Afternoon. Hope you're doing good. Entry confirmation good. Only thing that turned around was the volume, which GJ against me, but all is good. First loss after long string of wins. Yeah, of course, that was always going to happen, man. It's always going to happen. You're not going to win every trade you take. You're going to have losses, and you're going to have a string of losses as well. No trader doesn't have a string of losses. Even if you have a 80% win rate, you will still experience a string of losses as well. Maybe not as big as some with 40% win rate, but you will experience losses too. So it's just about becoming comfortable with them and being able to stay focused. Okay, so I'll go through. What's up, Ping 1137? Hope you're well. Looking at EuroCAD sell. Okay, I'll take a look at EuroCAD and Litecoin, and then we'll just go for the remaining yen pairs. Okay, so EuroCAD, you said you're looking at some shorts around 1.482484. Let me drop to the hourly. So this is more of an intraday opportunity. 1.482, 1.482. Okay, that's around here. And 484, around there. Okay, so you're looking for this area of supply, I presume. Looking for price to get back there, then you're looking for a reaction to get involved. So yeah, I like it, to be honest. Overall, with EuroCAD, not the biggest fan of the price action. Is just very sideways. But recently, we have seen some healthy bearish structure. If I map out the highs, you can see we formed equal highs over there. And then after we did that, we went and broke structure, taking out this low, which gave us a lower low down here, which gave us another lower high, which again gave us another lower low. So the plan is to expect that trend to continue until it reverses. And if I didn't mean to do that. And if I whip out the fib, I'm pretty sure your area probably lines up pretty well for maybe the 0.618. Yes, it does, pretty much bang on the money in between the 0.5 as well. So yeah, I think there's a healthy area for retracement for price to pull back into. Are you looking to short it back into the low? Ping, how far are you looking to take the trade? Are you looking for a reaction, or are you trying to swing it back to where it came from? But nonetheless, I think it's a great place for a short. Again, you can mark up areas where you expect price to react and where you expect price to have a bounce. But that's one thing. The second thing is actually waiting to see what price does when it gets there, because you have no idea. Maybe you get some news and EuroCAD flies straight through. So you don't want to just short without at least a sign that says, okay, price is holding this area. So we'll see how that develops over the next couple of days, for us to get there. And that could be a really nice place for the market to form that next lower high and see some downside. In terms of the area, really nice consolidation, really strong drop there. A lot of momentum came from that area. Haven't yet come back to revisit it. So, yeah, I think it's a nice area for a short and also a healthy area for a retracement as well, back into the 0.618 of the fib, and of course in line with market structure too. So, yeah, a lot of confluence is lining up there. I think it's at least get a reaction. We might not, get the full swing back to the low, but at least get a reaction, even if price does want to keep pushing higher. I'll go take a look at Litecoin, and then we'll go through the yen pairs. So yeah, with this one, we did get a pretty big sell. Looks like price is holding on to some support here. Let me see how that looks on the daily chart. Okay, so we left a pretty big wick there yesterday. So yeah, I mean, the price action with Litecoin has been very bearish. Of course, we've been looking at these lower highs and we've been talking about these shorts quite a lot. Now that price is back at support, meaningful support, we've shown a lot of respect to this area. Big wicks piercing through, yet to see a candle close below as well. So, this is definitely an area where we're seeing buys perform very, very well. So again, there could be another reaction. I'm not as confident with this one. I mean, I do think we can see a push to the upside, but I wouldn't start looking for anything crazy. These are the main highs you want to be looking at. At the moment, these highs are in control of the market. So yes, we might go for another bounce here with Litecoin, but I do think there's a good chance of just forming another lower high for us to go and eventually break through. So that's kind of what I'm looking at there for this one. Still looking at flowing with these bearish moves, really big candles there to the downside, really big candles again over there as well. The bears are definitely in control, but this is definitely some bullish territory where buys are performing pretty well. So yeah, for Litecoin, I do think we'll see a bit of a bounce. It looks like Bitcoin seeing that, looks like Ethereum seeing that as well. So it looks like, generally speaking, we'll probably see some upside. But as soon as we come back into these lower high territories, a bit of a dodgy trend line, but it does the job. As soon as you come back into this kind of vicinity, maybe retesting the high over there on the left, I do think price is probably going to fall another lower high again and continue back down. So yeah, the bigger move for me for Litecoin still looking pretty bearish. But of course, where we are, this is some really nice support. So possibly some short-term longs for some long-term sells there for Litecoin back to this wick low there. So yeah, that's kind of really where I'm at with Litecoin. Anyway, we'll go through the yen pairs now. Good morning, Lauder. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Tony Gold, what's up, my man? Hope you're doing well. Ping, low 1.47, more like 1.455. Okay. 1.47's here, 1.455. Okay, that's all the way down here. So that's a pretty big move. Okay, looking at this low. Okay. Yeah, so of course the risk reward's gonna be very, very high. If you're gonna short here, you're probably looking at maybe like a 25 pip stop loss, maybe for probably like a 150 pip drop. Let's measure that. Oh, that's more than 150 pip. I got that very wrong. That's a 350 pip drop. Missed that by 200 pips. So yeah, it's a pretty big move there. So of course the risk reward is going to be very, very high. So I would suggest having some type of management system with that, which I'm sure you would have. At least trading stops or a partial target. If this is your first target and you're going to book maybe 50% there and 50% there, or whatever percentage you want it to be, at least have something, because with EuroCAD, and especially with the type of market you're dealing with, it's a very, very choppy market. It's not like we've been trending to the downside for a while and you've got momentum on the higher time frames in your favor. You don't really have that. The market is flat. So yes, you could get a reaction there, but the chance of you just catching a full swing to that low is pretty slim, actually, even with technical analysis and everything. So, I mean, it could happen, but it might come back and take you out the trade first for a break even or a loss or whatever before it does move in your direction there. So I would look at ways to manage that trade on the way down. But yeah, if the market is going to continue, back to the swing low, and you're looking for momentum to continue, it makes sense. But because of the condition of the market is very choppy, I'll be careful. Anyway, let's go through the yen pairs. So Euro JPY, we just spoke about, looking really good for shorts. This is one I'm actually very focused on right now. I said the two yen pairs which I'm looking at closely is Euro yen shorts and pound yen shorts. So Euro yen, keeping one solid eye on this one, not too far away. Could even be looking for entries later today, to be honest. So definitely want to be careful with that one. Pound yen is the other yen pair, which I do really like. I'm looking for more downside, expecting price to push back into that swing low. So eventually back into this swing low, but of course that's the one we'll look at more closely. So yeah, with pound yen, it looks really good for shorts. Slightly better than euro yen actually, because pound yen took out the swing low with ease. Really, this swing low here gave us a strong move to the upside, and it's now gone and broken through that. Euro yen's kind of equivalent low is kind of bouncing on right now. So euro yen isn't as bearish as pound yen. We're kind of respecting that region, whereas pound yen, obliterated through it. But it still looks good, and I'm still looking at shorts there. But yeah, pound yen broke through some really strong lows and gave us a very strong bearish leg. So what I'm looking now for pound yen is, again, the pullback of this bearish leg, which lines up pretty well with the low here on the left and the 0.5 of the fib. So hopefully you can see a bit more upside here for pound yen. That's what I'm praying on. Sure, the market's very bearish and can still very much sell off from any point, really. And there's a lot of momentum in the market right now, but I do want to see some more upside. And 194, 194.5 is really where my focus lies for pound yen for some shorts. We formed some lovely equal highs up here. Nice drop. Formed a low. Then we formed a lower high in reference to the equal highs up there. Then, of course, we formed another lower low with that bearish leg all the way down here. So, yeah, now I just want to see a pullback of that move and some more downside. Again, on the higher time frames, I was still looking at that double top there for the shorts. However, it doesn't look like we're going to get there anymore. So I have to adapt to what price is giving me. And this is what price is giving me now, a new setup there around 194.5. But it's still very much the same analysis. Still expecting the continuation of this bearish leg. Still looking at this as a correction and looking for the drop back to the lows and maybe a lot further as well. So yeah, pound yen looking really good to short, but I want to see a bit more upside there first. If you go to CAD yen, this one hasn't really done much. Was looking a little bit bearish when we were on stream yesterday. Now it's looking a little bit bullish. I mean, overall, I'm not convinced really. I was talking about this trend line here, but we broke through it yesterday. So I was like, okay, maybe we're going to get the big sell now for CAD yen, but we didn't. Price formed support and push back up again. I mean, what you could look at this as is just a big range, really, which is what it's kind of doing, just moving sideways. So if CAD yen does break that range to the downside, would have left the trend line in the dust by then. But more importantly, broken through support, and then the shorts back again will look good, and then the continuation is back into the low. Or if we are going to be bullish, that's great as well. I'm still looking for the retest of the high here, same as pound yen, same as euro yen. It's just euro and pound, they've formed the high and giving us some bearish structure. CAD yen hasn't technically done that yet, so we could still see possibly a push back to the high there first. And then again, I'm looking for the big sell from that area, big double top, and hopefully a big swing back to the lows here, which is at 104. So yeah, very bearish here on CAD yen, looking for the continuation of that drop. Still looking at this as the correction of it. So it's just about finding that lower high and being patient and staying alert for it as well. So if the market does drop to the downside and looks to follow euro yen and pound yen shortly, then this will be the opportunity I keep an eye out for. If not, then still looking at the retest of 111.5. Hopefully you can find some shorts from up there. But I'm not interested in the buys at all with CAD yen. Only looking to take this one a lot lower. If we go take a look at dollar yen, this one actually still very bullish on. It's the only yen pair which I'm really looking to buy actually. And looking to see if I can swing it back to highs as well. Maybe it doesn't play out. If we are going to see pound yen, euro yen, CAD yen, all the other yen pairs melt and continue that move from July, then you're probably going to see dollar yen do it as well. Maybe it might be a bit slower because if USD is going to be strong, it's going to be very difficult for dollar yen to fall anyway. But yeah, it's probably going to follow suit. So if it's a case where I do get shorts on pound yen, and then maybe I get break even there, and then I take a buy in dollar yen, and that fails, and I get back into pound yen or euro yen, that could be the situation, because I don't know which way price is going to go. All I have to do is follow, my analysis, market structure, and let the edge take care of itself, really. But yeah, for now, dollar yen still looks like a good buy, back down at 154.5. If I can swing this from the low to the high, you can see it lines up with the 50 very, very well. And as you can see right now, the market's still very corrective in this ascending channel. So to me, the market looks very tired, very fatigued. Not the signs of a healthy trading market anymore. Yes, momentum here was looking great, but now we've lost all of that. So looking for a move to the downside in the form of a pullback for, again, another push back to highs, and then hopefully higher as well. You can see if I go to the daily chart, market's still looking very, very bullish here, still forming higher highs and higher lows. And we do have that major swing high there, 161,900, which looks like price could be looking to push towards in the longer run. So the goal is to try and find more of these swing lows here to then take price back to the upside. And of course, eventually back to the high there if we're lucky, or even back to the high there at 158.6. That would still be a very healthy move as well. But yeah, that's kind of really where I'm at with dollar yen. In terms of CHF JPY, this one as well, looking for more downside. It's not my favorite pair, so I'm not really looking to short it, but it's given some decent structure, to be honest. Nice double top up there. Nice push down. Another push down as well, giving us the lower high. So again, a pullback of this move is not such a bad trade either. Back into that 50, 0.618 region, retesting that price support in the lower time frames. Could see another lower high form, another drop, another push back to these lows here as well. So I think euro yen looks okay. I think pound yen and euro yen look a lot better. So that's kind of where my focus is at the moment. And of course, I don't need to look at every single yen pair because they're all going to do mostly the same things. So it's just about picking the better trade. And euro yen looks better than this one. So I'm going to be focused on that one. They're both not far off entries as well. Maybe we might see CHF JPY set up the same time as euro yen. But yeah, looking at another lower high in regard to that bearish move, another lower high, another drop back to these lows. And then maybe we see price continue further, back to the lows here and so on and so forth. But it looks like CHF JPY is now struggling. You can see we formed a high over there, big drop, another lower high, big drop. Looks like another lower high as well. Looks like this bullish trend might be hitting a top and could be looking to reverse. And that's kind of what I'm expecting with all the yen pairs, really. So yeah, pretty bearish on pound yen as well. Pretty bearish on pound yen. If we do start breaking structure again, something like this, okay, I'll reanalyze from there. But at the moment, we're not getting that. So yeah, pretty bearish there on CHF JPY. In terms of Aussie yen and New Zealand yen, yeah, these guys are a myth right now. I'm just going to box it off as consolidation, really. We did break structure here yesterday, or was that Friday? I think Friday. And yeah, I'm just going to look at this as more of a range than anything, really. If the market does break to the upside, I'll look at that too, which is the move I've been expecting price to do, because I'm looking at, again, another retest of the high before the big sell. Lovely impulse. I'm looking at another swing back up again for the big short. Maybe we just break to the downside from here, but that is what I was favoring alongside pound, alongside all the other yen pairs as well. But now I'm just going to box that off as consolidation and not read too much into price action in the middle. There's nothing more deceiving than a big bullish candle inside the middle of a range. A lot of people getting excited, momentum, looking to buy, or sell, or even. But really, it's just difficult to gauge what the market's going to do next inside the middle of a range. If we break out, we can digest that a lot better. So yeah, my attention is focused on this region here, 98.7, and also this support here with all those wicks at 96.2. I'll wait for price to break either the high or the low before I really analyze it in detail. If you break below, you're probably looking at the target these lows here. If you break the high, you're looking for a push back to the high there. That's really how I'm looking at Aussie yen. And in terms of its partner in crime, New Zealand yen, doing the exact same thing as well. There's your range high, there's your range low, and price is just consolidating there. So until we start to commit outside of this, break the high or break the low, I'm not going to read too much into price action because we're just fluctuating. Of course, if you're looking to buy the low of the range and sell the top of the range, you're looking to trade the range, be my guest. That's a decent proposition. Yeah, refine a stop loss. If it does play out, looking at pretty healthy risk to reward. But of course, in terms of the bigger swing, I'm still looking for the continuation of that drop. But again, same as Aussie yen, I was looking for a push to the upside first, and then the sell, but doesn't look like we're getting that as of yet. But if we do get the break of the high, then of course, looking for us to get back there. If we do get the break of the low, looking for us to get to that low, and eventually that low back there as well. But right now in the middle of the range, so not really too interested with price action. Yeah, if you're looking to get involved, I'll just look to sell high or buy low. Excuse me. Lord, already short Euro yen and GJ, small positions. Yeah, I'm looking to see if I can join you. Might be a bit early, but we shall see. Yeah, I mean, even if you are early, you stop out, you get back in. If you're looking for, bigger risk reward trades, even if you do take a loss, then take a win, you're still looking at a positive outcome of the sum of both trades. So getting in early shouldn't really be a fear. Of course, you don't want to get in early. Who does? But of course, you're not going to know until the market's eventually made the move. So if you do get a signal and it looks good, take it. If it doesn't play out, it doesn't play out. You're not meant to win every trade. As long as you're taking the trade for the right reasons, that's the most important thing. But yeah, I'm looking to get into Euro yen and pound yen. Well, not necessarily both, but I'm looking to at least get into one of them. If I get to both, it's because I took one trade, went to break even, and then the other one gave me a setup as well. But at least looking to hopefully get into one. But Euro yen looks the closest at the moment. I'm looking for a bit more upside before I look to find any entries with Euro yen. This is the zone I'm looking at, 162.5. But I'd imagine we're looking at pretty similar moves back into the low there and possibly back into the low down there as well, 156.5. Dark on GJ 5 minutes trading on 70 pip range, which doesn't give me confidence to enter. Okay, let's take a look at GJ on the 5 minute. Okay, I can see the range you're talking about. The equal highs up there, the equal lows down here. Price is kind of all over the place a little bit. Yeah, so yeah, I wouldn't want to trade that either. If that was on the 4-hour chart, I'll be staying away. I'll be waiting for price to either break the high or break the low. But yeah, I am looking at more downside for pound yen. But first, I do want to see a bigger pullback for this one anyway. I'm looking at that 194 area. I think I probably would watch out for the low here as well, 193.4. But what are you looking to do on the 5 minute chart, Dark Sean? Are you looking to try and get into some buys to ride it up? Or are you focused on trying to short this? Yeah, it could be. It could be early. Could not be. I've taken trades thinking I might be too early, and then it plays out. And I've taken trades where I think it's too late, but then the market gives me another entry, and I get into a trade. So you don't necessarily know until you know. Maybe you're early, maybe you're not. You'll find out. The key thing is, are you managing your risk for that trade? It's not a situation where you bet your whole account on that position. If you're risking a healthy amount, then okay. If you do stop out, you can always look to get back in. If you're looking to improve your trading, you want to look back at your past, 50, 100 trades before you try and change anything. Individual trades come and go. It's important not to get too wrapped into them, because that's how you get into the thinking of, oh, I need to be right, I need to win a trade, which is not a good mindset to be in, because then it will stop you, trying to stop you experiencing losses. You'll be too afraid to take a trade because you might lose, which is a really bad place to be in. But yeah, in terms of the high time frame analysis, the end pairs are looking very bearish. Let me have a quick look at the JPY basket. That was looking very bearish yesterday. I mean, very bullish, sorry. Oh, look at that. Left a really big wick there. That is not the best wick, I would have to say. Yeah, it's not the best wick, because it would be better if the market gave us a strong close there. The fact that we left a big wick just as we broke the high is not the best sign there for the yen basket, I must say. So yeah, that does reduce my confidence in the expectation of a higher low. I mean, I still do think one will form, but if we had a strong close in the daily, then I'll be a lot more confident. So yeah, not the best close there for the yen basket. How's the Japanese index doing? Okay, so it's just respecting support right now. Hasn't really done much. But yeah, yen basket could be better. Could look better, to be honest. Could look better. I mean, I'm still looking for the higher low. We went from the low here, broke structure to the upside. So, I'm still looking for a higher low to form. But yeah, the daily chart wasn't the best candle close at all. Maybe we still do get the move down before the big push. Anyway, I'm still looking at both. So I'll keep an eye on either option. But yeah, that daily candle close not looking great. If you guys are enjoying the stream, by the way, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. I do appreciate everyone who has liked and subscribed so far. Like I said, it does really help out. And of course, make sure you do go and hit the bell as well, so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. And of course, check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel if you haven't done so already. You can find discussions there, learn a little bit more about Elevating Traders, chat with myself. I share updates as well there. So check it out if you haven't done so and you are interested. The link to that is at the top of the chat and also in the description below. But yeah, in terms of my current watch list, there's only kind of three major ones I'm looking at: Euro yen shorts, pound yen shorts, and Euro pound longs. Those are the key ones I'm looking at. I'm of course looking at some USD pairs. I'm looking for pound USD to retrace, but that one is so far away at the moment right now. So that's not really something I'm too concerned with. I want to see price back at 1.25 really, and that's still a good amount of pips away from current price. If I were to measure that right now, still looking at about 300 pip move back to that level, and I know that's not going to happen overnight. So yeah, pound USD, Euro USD, I do like these guys to the downside. I mean, euros is more realistic. That could definitely happen this week. I think we do have some news tomorrow. Is tomorrow CPI or Thursday CPI? Let me just double check. Okay, so yeah, today's PPI for USD. That's at 130. Tomorrow. Oh yeah, tomorrow CPI. Okay, so yeah, potentially you could even see that happen tomorrow. USD becomes a bit weak after CPI, a little push to the upside. That could definitely give us the pullback tomorrow. Of course, if USD is bullish, then probably won't see that pullback at all, really. And Thursday we've got where's the Euro news? Was that Friday? Yeah, CPI for Euro on Friday. So yeah, CPI for USD on Wednesday. So that's kind of the key news event I'll watch out for. Maybe I do get the opportunities after that. I have to wait and see. But I don't see that happening, especially for like pairs like dollar CAD, which again I do like to the upside, but at the moment still comfortably trading in that range. My area of interest still lies back down here. That is still definitely the area which I'm looking to get involved in. But yeah, I don't see that pullback happening at the moment. So USD pairs, although they do look good, they do fit the criteria really well. I'm not so focused on them because I know they're not really in my areas. So there's no point in me kind of dwelling on them too much. Um, Aussie dollar as well. I do like this to the downside, but this is the area I'm looking to short from. We're nowhere near that, so not really too worried about the USD pairs at the moment. More focused on the yen pair, which again could give me an entry very soon, especially euro yen. If it does push up a little bit more, it's in my area. Now I'm starting to look for entries. Pound yen still a little bit of a way away, but again, that could happen this week. We're not too far away. As you can see, 194.5, we could see a push back into that zone and then continue back to the lows there as well. So that will be my expectation there with pound yen. And then, of course, euro pound is the other pair I'm looking at. But then again, this one's pushed away as well. It was looking pretty likely yesterday. We were having that bearish momentum, but this morning closed very, very bullish to the upside. I still think the pullback is still on the cards. Even if you go and take up this high as well, I do like it for euro pound. And euro pound does give pretty big pullbacks. That's one thing to note. And that's why I do think it could still happen, is because if you just look at the prior price action for euro pound, we do get pretty steep pullbacks. It's a very, very choppy market. It doesn't move in straight lines. It's very, very zigzaggy, but it does give pretty deep pullbacks. So if you're looking for a big pullback in euro pound, the chances are there's a good chance you're going to get it. Just have to be patient, as it does take its time as well. So yeah, euro pound retested this area 0.833 or 832, we'll call it. That's the third one I'm looking at. I'm also looking at New Zealand CHF, but as I said, I'm currently trading Euro CHF still. That's not break even, so I'm not really looking to find any more entries on CHF pairs. But New Zealand CHF's come back into my area of interest, really. So if I wasn't trading Euro CHF, I would be looking for entries right now, really, with New Zealand CHF in the 4-hour chart, trying to find a nice bearish engulfing candle to look for entries and take this to the downside. Again, the idea is that we're looking for a pullback of this bearish leg here. I'm pretty sure we're pushed into the 50. Yep, just about wicked into the 50 there. And of course, we've got successive lower highs here on the 4-hour chart. So the idea is that we're looking just to continue that trend and get the next drop. Now we pull back into the same resistance, tag the 50, potential double top. This is the area which I do expect us to sell off from. So yeah, New Zealand CHF would be a pair that I would be looking at quite a lot now, looking for entries to ride it back into this low here, then hopefully back into the all-time low as well, which is not too far away, which is back down at this wick here. But yeah, like I said, I'm currently in Euro CHF, so that's why I'll be staying away. When price is closed, typically it's going for it. But I mean, if it happens that many times, if it happens that frequently, Darkshon, you should try and develop a strategy to trade that that opportunity. If you experience that 9% of the time, then you should be looking to try and take advantage of that in terms of trading it. And if you expect the price to get to that liquidity area, then you should be looking to try and find entries to buy that and take advantage of that move. Because if you see something so frequently, you should be looking to take advantage of that and try and develop a strategy around it, which of course is different in terms of the analysis, because with a strategy you have to find entry, stop loss, targets. But yeah, if something happens that frequently, might as well try and take advantage of that and develop a trade idea for it. But yeah, even with the thing is that even if it does happen or doesn't happen, either the main thing is, did you enter a trade that fits an edge? And if you did, then you let the edge play out, because there'll be many trades that people take um, which will kind of be the opposite of a trade that someone else will take, and they'll kind of be scratching their head on why you took that trade and vice versa. But the key thing is that you should be looking to take an edge, take a trade within your edge, and just stick with that edge through the thick and thin. Of course, if you want to look to improve, you can do, but you're not going to do that on a trade by trade basis as well. Okay, do tradable opportunities not often. Okay. Okay, yeah, I was just querying because if you find an opportunity in the market, that happens a lot. That should be something that you 100% try and exploit. But yeah, you would take some trades that other people will look to try and go against, not necessarily because they're right or wrong. It's just you're following an edge. There's buyers and sellers. I'm sure there'll be people here trying to buy yen. There'll be other people trying to sell yen for good reasons. Some will win the trade, some will lose the trade, but they can both be profitable over the long run. Your trading's not defined by a trade, by one single individual trade. So yeah, just focus on playing at your edge. You're supposed to lose, you're supposed to win. Even if you're a horrendous trader, you still win some trades because that's just the laws of probability. Um, and even if you're the best trader to ever live, you'll still lose trades as well. So the key thing is just focus on that edge and stay consistent with it, which is the hardest thing to do in trading. But yeah, those are the pairs I'm looking at. If I go through some of the crosses, I haven't looked at those yet. So it looks like we saw a bit more downside in these guys. Yeah, pound NZD has been falling very, very hard here. I think pound is still pretty weak. NZD did gain some strength yesterday, so I think that was more. Um, yeah, that was more the cause of this move rather than necessarily pound being weak. It has been weak, but NZD was pretty strong past kind of 12 hours. Same with Aussie as well. And yeah, really big push to the downside. But now pound NZD is in an area where I do like the buys. If we go to the weekly chart, you can see the successive high lows the market's been printing. One over there, second, third, fourth, fifth, and we could be looking at number 6 as well. And that's the area which I want to buy in. Coming back to retest some consolidation. If I drop back to the daily chart, this area over here is very much the level which I'm looking to buy from, 2.15. If we could see some buys from there, that would be absolutely fantastic. And from there, not necessarily looking to ride it all the way back to the high, but at least looking for a reaction. Even if I can get a push back into this high here, that would still be a really great opportunity. You're looking for some opportunities for reversal in here, take a buy, ride it back to that area. I mean, I will be trading a stop. I won't have a finite take profit for it. So maybe I do end up riding it back to the high. We'll have to wait and see. But this is the area which I'm looking to go long from. As long as price doesn't break through this structure here, this high low, this is where I'm looking to buy. If price does go and break through that, I wouldn't necessarily be bearish because this is truly the last swing low of the market. This is the last low which gave us the push up to the high. So I wouldn't necessarily be bearish, but I wouldn't be so bullish anymore. At that point, we might see an up move, but it's probably going to be a pullback for us to see more downside. So I might even start looking for some shorts. But yeah, for now, pound NZD seeing some downside. We'll keep a close eye for the longs, not too far away anymore. Again, the plan is not to just buy it as soon as we get there. I'm looking for structure to shift. So if we can get there, see some lower lows and lower highs, then I'll be looking for price to either have a break and retest somewhere or retest of a high somewhere and then find some longs. But that is something I'll be looking at probably later in the week or maybe early next week. Pound Aussie, its partner in crime, is already coming to an area which I'm interested in. So similar to pound NZD, you can see the high lows prices been stacking to the upside. And again, I'm looking for the next one in that sequence. If I do whip out the fib from the last swing low to the high, you can see we've just about come into the 0.5, and also looks like we're about to retest. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Retest this high here as well, which I think we've just done. So again, this is an area which I do like the buys. I also like that brief consolidation just underneath us as well. I also like this area here too for some longs, but the plan is to wait for price to shift. At the moment, we're still very bearish. So looking for something like this for some buys, whether it happens here or a little bit further down, doesn't really matter too much. We're more or less trading in the same vicinity here, but now we've seen a healthy enough pullback. The market can now spring to the upside. Again, similar to pound NZD, I'm not looking to necessarily ride it all the way back to the highs. I will be trading stop loss, so maybe it does come around. But again, even if I can get a push back to this area or this area, still looking at a really healthy risk reward down the trade. But I do like them, pound NZD, pound Aussie. Not my favorite pairs, but when I start to see price action starting to build up and shift, I'll probably look to add it to the watch list and then look for some entries. And of course, when pound NZD gets to that zone as well, starts to shift, I'll look to add that to the watch list as well. In terms of Euro NZD and Euro Aussie, yeah, I'm not a big fan of these guys. Euro Aussie dollar is probably my least favorite out of the pairs we just looked at. I'm looking at this being the range high. One test, second test there. I'm looking at this as being the range low. Got 3 tests there as well. And the market has been fluctuating between those 2 levels. And then right now it's in the middle of absolutely nowhere. I did point out yesterday that price is kind of retesting the high then the left. So there is some big significant level that the market is respecting, but I'm not convinced. Maybe we do get a big sell back to the low again and we continue to fluctuate. But these are not the conditions I'm looking for. I'm looking for trending conditions. I'm looking for the market to have momentum in a particular direction on the higher time frames, that is, and then I drop to the lower time frames to exploit that, refine the risk, and then of course hold on for bigger RR trades. But at the moment, Euro Aussie is just not giving me the behavior I want to see. I did say yesterday that this corrective behavior does look like price is getting ready. That is horrendous. Let me just use the line tool. It does look like price is getting ready for a drop to the downside. So this looks like a correction to me. I'm expecting price to push down. Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm looking at for Euro Aussie, but the price action isn't great at all. Isn't great at all. And then if I go to Euro NZD, this one did have a nice drop, but again, still not a big fan of the price action. Actually, this one is a little bit better because we've got a big range here on the higher time frames, equal highs over there, equal lows down here. The market's just fluctuating between the two. So this is not a bad bad opportunity per se. Even if you're looking to short the high of the range, it makes a lot of sense because if it does play out, you could be looking at a ginormous swing back to the low. So the risk reward on this opportunity is very, very high. So I think it's a good opportunity in that regard. If you're looking for shorts, you want price to be back at the high again, so you can refine an entry, have a stop above the high somewhere or above the high there as well. And of course, you can really look to catch a big drop here. So the risk is definitely worth the reward. Again, not really a pattern that I look to trade or a characteristic in the market which I look to trade, but I can definitely understand the logic there. Ping got stopped out break even on your Aussie. Oh, okay. Was in from last week. Okay, yeah, I remember you mentioning. Yeah, it was just a little bit choppy in that area. Again, break evens, natural part of trading as well. I mean, it depends how you manage your trade. Some people don't go to break even, but yeah, when you're looking at price action like Euro Aussie is getting, sure you can catch some big moves with this and really nice trades here. But the market is fluctuating a lot and just being very, very corrective as well. So you just have to manage the trade accordingly. Catch a big move, great. But otherwise, if the market's a bit stale, sideways, you can always look to close a trade early or, protect your risk, move a stop loss to break even, and avoid any kind of unwanted behavior. But yeah, I'm not a fan of price at all. LFTJ, what is up? Enter BT 89338, resistance respect well. Okay, is that a buy? 89338. That's right, the lows, isn't it? Have a look. Lauder, I think on dollar pairs, probably should might play out tomorrow during or after the news. Yeah, I'm looking for a pullback on USD as well. USD's been so bullish the past whatever, month, couple of months. It's definitely due a pullback. We've seen Aussie dollar fall out the sky, dollar CAD fly into the sky. So these guys are due some pullbacks big time. All you have to do is just zoom out and look at the price action. When's the last time you got a move this big on dollar CAD? We just went through the price action. It's been a while. Even the last time we had a big move, we had a big correction afterwards. So I do expect dollar CAD to have that bigger retracement. Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, pound. Those guys are definitely do need some upside, 100%. Still long-term bullish on dollar as long as we can stay outside the range on the DXY. But yeah, we are definitely due a pullback at some point. And yeah, CPI is a good excuse for that pullback to start to happen. Anyway, let me go take a look at that BTC position. So you said you got to buy at 89,300. So you caught the buy right at the wick low there. That is an incredible entry. How come you got an entry there? What was your reason behind the trade? But yeah, fantastic entry right at the wick low. Well, what are your targets for that position? Because in my book, it's looking really healthy right now. Massive wick to the downside, holding on to support there. And the fact is the wick pierced through support as well. So any earlier buys will be shaken out, and any sellers as well we look to be shaken out too. Anyone looking to kind of sell that momentum in some drawdown right now. So yeah, both kind of sides trapped there with that move. And now that that wick has closed and we're seeing momentum kick in today too, I do think Bitcoin has some room to the upside there. Back to 98, not 98,300. That's Phillips target. I'm looking at price coming back to the highs there, 108K. If we can maintain that support level, I do think we can see price push. So yeah, very bullish on Bitcoin. I do think we can see a lot more upside. That support was really the only level that kept me bullish really with Bitcoin. If we were to break through that, then yeah, I'll be very bearish on Bitcoin. But no, had a big rejection, looking pretty bullish now. So I do think we can see a bit more upside. What's up, Kadam? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. What is up? What is up? Lauder, New Zealand CAD short yesterday. Okay. Enter shorts off the previous 4 hour at 0.OK. We'll take a look. I'll go through the CAD pairs in general. I haven't really gone through the CAD pairs. I know I had a look at Euro CAD earlier, but haven't gone pound CAD, haven't looked at Euro Aussie CAD or New Zealand CAD yet. So we'll go through the CAD pairs together. But yeah, we'll start off with New Zealand CAD. So you said you took some shorts. Yeah, it has been a while, Kadam. Hope you've been doing well. Hope you've been doing well, but good to see you on the lives again. So New Zealand CAD, you said you got some shorts, Lauder, from 0.0694. Okay, so around there, looking pretty healthy, I must say. Looking very healthy. So yeah, I'll assume maybe your plan is to get it back to the low there. So targets around zero point 0.8, big psychological level. And maybe you can even go further than that as well. I mean, I am looking for price to go further, but because I know you're trading a bit more intraday, I don't know. You do like to swing some positions, don't you, Lauder? I know you like to enter it intraday, but then you do hold for some big targets. But yeah, it's looking pretty bearish. It's looking pretty bearish. I've been looking for the bigger pullback for New Zealand CAD. I've been very bearish on this one too, but it just hasn't given the bigger pullback. There has been some opportunities on the 4-hour chart, but nothing very clean, I must say. And ever since we broke through the low here and that low there as well, we yet to really see a decent pullback. So at least on the 4-hour anyway. Intraday there has been quite a few, to be honest. But yeah, looking pretty good. It looks like another little high is starting to print there. If I whip out the old fib, we spiked back into a healthy area, retesting that prior low there as well into that 0.6182. So layers of confluence stacking on top of one another. And I do like that wick down the 4-hour chart. So yeah, looking pretty good, I must say, Lauder. And I would expect a bit more downside for New Zealand CAD anyway. I'm very bearish on this pair. I do think we're probably going to take out these lows anyway eventually. Whether we push up and do that or just fall and do that, it'll be up to New Zealand CAD. But yeah, very bearish on this one. And if that is the next lower high in the sequence, you can expect us to push back into the lows and maybe further as well. So yeah, looking pretty good there for New Zealand CAD. I didn't know there's a Lamborghini Kenyan traders. But yeah, I do get quite a few people from Kenya on the stream. Okay, looking for pushback to the low. So yeah, looking pretty good. If we go take a look at Aussie CAD as well. So yeah, Aussie CAD looks like it's doing something similar to New Zealand CAD. And this one, I do expect a pretty big drop as well. Because again, if you look at the higher time frames, what the market is doing overall, it's it's still very consistent with all these lower highs. If I whip out this trend line connecting the highs there, you can see how consistent the lower highs have been. And this to me looks like another one. So longer term, I'm expecting Aussie CAD to come right back into support. We tried to break to the upside, we failed, we respected resistance. So in my book, I would expect us now to come back into support. And the fact is, if I drop to the low time frames, let me delete that. And if it drops to the low time frames, we've broken through a very long-term counter trend line, breaking through this low here. And yeah, now that we've broken through that, I do see a one-way street back into the low there, 0.87. So expecting a lot more downside for Aussie CAD. And with this one, it's just been so corrective. So it's been difficult to find a nice short, at least on the 4-hour chart anyway. You can see how tightly knit the pullbacks have been and very corrective, how corrective the market has been. So it hasn't been the best price action in the world, but hey, we are very consistent with the lower highs, and as long as price keeps putting them in, it keeps me bearish. And looks like we might be putting another lower high there on the lower time frames too. So yeah, as long as we maintain that, looking for more downside, expecting eventually push back into 0.87 for Aussie CAD. So if Aussie CAD's going to have a big move down, there's a good chance New Zealand CAD's going to make that same move there as well. So yeah, very bearish on both of them as well. All right, take care, Will. Have a good one, my man. We'll see you tomorrow. Don't forget to like and sub. Appreciate it. Adios. But yeah, guys, if you are enjoying the content, finding it useful, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. And of course, make sure you go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. But yeah, Aussie CAD definitely very bearish on this one. New Zealand CAD bearish as well. So it's nice to see those two pairs in sync. It does act like a confluence for a trade as well. And then if you go take a look at pound CAD, so yeah, pound CAD's interesting. I don't think we quite took the low yet. Yeah, it looks like we kind of just closed into it. Maybe we closed below it by a few pips, but nothing clear cut. So the reason why pound CAD is interesting, because this one's been trending to the upside for a while now. As you can see, the consistent higher highs and higher lows looking spectacular on the daily chart. This being our last high low, which gave us the higher high. If price goes and breaks through that, that's the break of structure for me, and I'm looking at this trend turning around. And the reason why I say it's interesting, because this trend has been going on since this low here, which is all the way back in September 2022. Not 2024, not 2023, 2022. So it's been up, it's been trending to the upside for quite a while. So it's definitely due a pretty nice, at least, counter trend to the downside. Even if it wants to still continue higher, it's definitely due some bit of a pullback. And I'm looking at this area here because it's such a big level of resistance. We tested it a few times on the daily chart. You can see once over there, big reaction. Second time over there, big reaction. Almost got there again. A third time, big reaction. Then we also used that as support here as well. Massive push to the upside. So I know there's a lot of focus on this area here at 1.73 from price. And I'm looking for price to get there again. And if we do go break structure, I'm expecting price to get there, probably bounce, put another lower high in, and maybe even go and break through as well. But this is the area which I'm expecting us to push into. Maybe a lot of sellers have targets there, buyers looking to get involved there, and we could see price push there. And if we have a pullback before that, that'd be really nice. If you can break the low, not quite get to support, and then pull back, then I could look to try and target that in a move. That'd be very, very nice. But the idea is that if we do break structure, there's a good chance of a lower high forming afterwards, and that would be the trade I'll look to take. Yeah, and that would be the trade I look to take. But this is such a powerful move to the downside that I'm just kind of looking for shorts now for pound CAD, and hopefully we can go and take out some new lows. But pound has been very, very bearish. I mean, overall, I'm pretty bearish on the CAD pairs. Aussie CAD and bearish, New Zealand CAD and bearish, pound CAD and bearish, Euro CAD I'm technically bearish, but I don't like the price action that much. But I would be bearish on that one as well. But then pound's been very weak too. So pound yen I'm looking to short, pound USD I'm looking to short, pound CHF I'm waiting to short that one. Pound NZD I'm looking to long actually, but I'm looking for more downside in the first place. Same with pound Aussie as well. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the pound pairs. And then Euro pound I'm looking to long, which of course is in favor of pound weakness too. Two Paj, what is up? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Copper about to break bullish on the weekly and monthly chart. Okay, I'll go take a look at copper as well. But yeah, with the pound pairs, I do expect to see a lot more downside. So hopefully we can find some pullbacks on them. I'll go through some CHF pairs soon as well. Pound CHF is definitely one I'm looking to trade. Copper, what's copper again? XCU, is it XCU? Yes, it is. I don't normally look at copper. The only metals I normally focus on are gold and silver in terms of the ones I trade. But of course, I do look at platinum, copper as well occasionally. More out of interest rather than to trade them. But yeah, copper. So last time I looked at copper, I believe was back over here somewhere, I believe. I was looking for the shorts and I said some buys back from that low look good. Almost played out to the T there. Almost played out to the T. Didn't quite come back and test the support there, just missed it. But yeah, the idea was that we were continuing this trend here. Of course, we had the higher low, high pullback, higher low, pullback. Looking for, again, another higher low. For possibly another push to the upside. If I look at this one on the monthly chart, okay, we're at some dangerous prices here. Took out the high there, big retracement, took out the high, big retracement, but overall we're holding support pretty well. So in the longer run, we probably are just going to have another stab back at the high there. So I do still see copper pushing to the upside. But at the moment, now is not the best time to be looking to buy. It looks like we're about to break structure, but we are coming back into resistance. So it depends what your horizon is. Are you looking for a counter trend move, for a day or two? Are you looking for a big swing? Um, that will depend, because at the moment I think it's in a nice place for some downside, but I do expect it just to be a retracement for copper, then to have a really big push to the upside. So I like this area here for copper. Nice brief pause in the market, consolidated for a few hours before a big push to the upside. That looks like a nice place for a long, but you can see that we have now broken structure. So this bearish structure is now invalidated, ended, and now expecting bullish structure. And the fact that we are bouncing from this area here means that bigger move could be on the cards now. So I think the buys are where the bigger swing is, but like I said, now's not the time to be looking to enter any buys. This is definitely bearish territory. So yeah, sells look good, maybe for a day or two. But this is the area I'll be looking for some buys, or maybe the retest of the high here as well. If it's come a little bit deeper, I'll say 4.1 looks good. 4.1, then a bigger push there. No problem. Happy to help. Let me have a look at what's platinum again. I forget platinum. What is platinum? Platinum. Let me just write platinum. Probably come up. XPT. That's it. XPT. Then I'll go through the CHF pairs. Okay, so last time I looked at platinum, I believe we're probably over here, because that's where my last arrow was. So we're talking about some buys off that low, which we eventually did see a reaction. I think back then I was talking about some buys off this area, looking for a push back to the high. That never played out. It looks like we've got the deeper pullback instead. If I go to the weekly chart, overall the market is pretty flat. To be honest, platinum does not look great at all. I think that's why people stop requesting platinum, because this is a very ugly chart right now. Let me just start from scratch here. Yeah, I mean, when the weekly chart looks like this, you kind of want to stay away. Got some high lows there, but we also got some lower highs here. It's just a big kind of wedge pattern here. So yeah, not really seeing any trending environments really. I wouldn't even look for a break and retest on the high. I mean, we might get a reaction, but I wouldn't even look for a continuation. It's just not great conditions. But yeah, at least copper, I do expect to see a bounce. And of course, gold and silver, I'm still very much looking for buys. Still very much looking for buys of gold and silver, but for gold, I at least want to see price. That is the daily chart. At least want to see price break the high of the range, which is all the way at 27.17. If price can break the high of the range, that'd be great, and then I'll be expecting price to push back to the high there at 27.89. Or if price can have a massive pullback all the way down here, then I'll consider some buys, which is around 25.41. Those are the only two areas which look good for buys for me. I'm trying to stay away of trading inside the middle of the range, which is in this area here. I don't want to get involved in there. That's very, very sideways price action. That's where the most chaos will be, in the middle of a range. That's where you do want to stay away from. But if you can break the high, that's a great opportunity. And if you can push to the low, that's a good opportunity there as well. In terms of silver, as I said earlier, I like the longs for this one. If I expand to the daily chart, overall, you're looking for the continuation of this trend here. And again, looking for another higher high. If you look at the higher time frames, like the weekly chart, you can see overall what the market is doing. Nice push. This was a massive correction, but eventually we got the continuation to the upside. So I expect more of the same until proven otherwise, until we start taking out lows again. But for now, everything is pointing to the upside. So I'm getting ready for some buys for silver. I do expect silver to keep pushing up again. I did miss the double bottom entry down here. This was just before Let's start the year, so I missed that opportunity, unfortunately. But if we can start to form some high lows afterwards, I will be more than happy to find some entries later on, maybe in the retest of the high, or even if we get back to the low again, I'll still consider some buys down at 28.8 again. And like I said, the idea is to ride it back to the high at 34.9. And that was really my focus with the metals. In terms of the CHF pairs, like I said, I'm trading Euro CHF, so I'm not looking to get into the CHF pair, but I do really like New Zealand CHF and I do really like Pound CHF. But we had another bounce at the low of the range. I was looking for the breakout yesterday. I was hoping we could get the breakout, but Pound CHF just wants to stay in this range for all eternity at this point. At least it feels like it anyway. But yeah, I'm waiting to see if price can break the low of the range for some shorts. I'm looking to see if we can take it all the way back into the low. The idea is that we're still looking for continuous lower highs. We have one over there, second over there, massive drop there. And to me, this just looks like a correction of this for then a continuation back into the low. But what I want to see is price break the range, because then that will be the signal that says, okay, the sellers are taking control. Buyers are no longer holding support anymore. At that point, you're expecting us just to continue on the way down back to the low there. So, simple stuff here. But as long as we stay in the range, I have to stay away. I mean, I might look for another stab back at the high of the range. I did short probably a couple of weeks ago now. Nice short there. I did get taken out and break even. But if it was to get there again, I see another reaction, I will probably look to have another stab, especially if we can get a big fake out. Because I don't normally trade the upper or the lower end of a range. But what made me enter that trade is because we got a big fake out there. Price closed very strongly above the resistance. So taking this resistance across, price closed very strongly above and then closed back below very aggressively. That's why I like the position, because not only were we retesting the high of the range, but we also faked the high of the range as well. So any earlier sellers be taken out, trapping some buyers on the wrong side as well. So I had a little bit more to my game than just retesting the high of the range or just retesting the low, which is why I like the short. But of course, in hindsight, as we can see, it was a nice move down, but I was taken out. And then eventually we did get the follow through. But again, the plan was never really to try and catch the lower high at the top of the range and then swing it down. The plan for Pound CHF has always been looking for the retest of this low here, the breaking retest, looking for price to break the low, commit to the downside, find the lower high, then short it to the low. That has been the plan for Pound CHF, and I'm still waiting. Hopefully we get it this week, though. I think we do have some more pound news later in the week, so I'm kind of hoping that pound weakness does just keep up, really, and we break the low, and then I can start looking for some shorts again. And hopefully that can help out my Euro CHF position as well and get some shorts there too. But at the moment, there's not much for me to do. Like I said, if it does break resistance, I will look to exit the trade early. I do have my stop loss above the high there. But if the market does close above the resistance, there's no point in me hanging on to the trade, because the thing or the aspect of the market which I was expecting to hold, aka the resistance, is not doing that anymore. I don't need to wait for price to go and hit my stop loss. And if price does break above and then break back below, I'll just look for re-entry, just like I did over here. It broke above, broke back below, found my re-entry there. So yeah, Euro CHF keeping a close eye. In terms of CAD CHF, this one's still a bit of a dodgy market. Not the biggest fan of this one, really. I'm just looking at this as a range. I did say yesterday that we might respect that level there, but it looks like we're breaking through. Let me just draw it to the top there. So yeah, it looks like we're breaking through. If this one was to close back inside, I think that could be a really nice trade. Similar to the Pound CHF position I just mentioned, where we fake the high, then we come back below. If we could do that again here, I think that's a really nice trade. And this was a nice opportunity where we faked the high and came back below. You can see what happened after that. A really nice sell-off there to the downside. I mean, at the moment, we are pretty corrective, so it won't be as great of an opportunity. The best fake outs occur when price has a level of resistance, and we kind of just run through that level very aggressively and then shoot back down very aggressively. Those are the best fake outs. Fakeouts where you see this happen, we kind of just sluggishly break to the upside very correctively, then slowly break back in. Those are not really fake outs you want to follow, which is kind of like what we're doing now. But if we do have an aggressive move back down, it could look a lot better. If we correctively break back in, I wouldn't look to take that trade. These are the best fake outs, which is similar to what we got in pound CHF there. And of course, similar to what we got here. Very strong impulse move down. Doesn't have to be that big of a move. You know, it could be a slight close above, but it just has to do it with intention. Has to do it impulsively. Strong break above, strong break below. Very, very powerful patterns to look at in the market. But yeah, CAD CHF, if we do eventually hold that resistance level, it's a decent place for a short. I'm still overall bearish on CAD CHF. If we expand to the higher time frames, what's the market doing overall? Still very, very consistent with these lower highs here. As long as that is a reality, I do still see price falling and continuing to the downside there. So yeah, very, very bearish on CAD CHF, expecting a lot more downside. But we might break the high of the range first, pull back, form another major lower high, then drop. So I kind of have that in the back of my mind right now, that we still could have that bigger pullback there. In terms of Aussie CHF, this one's pretty simple. I'm looking for a big push to the downside, but there's one level that I need price to break through, which is this level of support here. I need price to break through that 0.56. If price can break through that support, I do think there's a really big move for this one. Of course, back into the wick low here, and we've actually got the all-time low not too far away, which is just over here. So you can see it's just below that wick there. And that's what tells me there's a good chance we're actually going to go take out the all-time low, because last time I had a big wick, just came so close to taking out that low. So it's building up liquidity, building up positions underneath that low. Therefore, I do expect price to eventually run it. And of course, if I expand to the monthly chart, where's the overall trend of the market? It is the downside. We just keep falling. We take out low after low after low. As you can see, every time we put a low in, it gets taken out. And the market has done this pattern for a while now. So I do expect us just to keep doing that, because that's literally what we've done for eternity. But also another thing to look into as well is that after we do take out a low, what happens? The market springs back up again. So when we do go and take out these lows, the market is looking extremely bearish. But when it does happen, we normally push right back up again. So as soon as this lows gets taken out, that's when I do expect the bigger pullback to happen, which is why I'm not looking for the bigger pullback right now for Aussie CHF, because we haven't taken out the low yet. We've already had that bigger pullback, which was this move here. So now I'm expecting us to go and take out that low over there, and then I can expect that bigger pullback for Aussie CHF and speak about the counter trend moves. And maybe see price pull back into this kind of area with the trend line and form another major low, major high, sorry, and then push down again, and so on and so forth. So we can discuss that later on. But yeah, for now, let me go back to the daily chart. For now, yeah, I just need to see price break this support here. So if we can break that support, we're in the business. Looking at something like that, and then the next lower high. And I thought we are going to actually get that when we had this break here of that support level, but it turned out to be a fake out. Of course, we can see prices now back above the level, but we didn't really see much momentum. Again, when I spoke earlier on pound CHF about corrective breakouts versus impulsive ones, very, very corrective, not really seeing much momentum then. Of course, price closed back above. So unfortunately, not what we want to see. So yeah, hopefully Aussie, didn't mean to do that. Hopefully Aussie CHF can see another break of that of that level of support, this time with some bit more momentum. Hopefully you can find some pullbacks afterwards, just like what New Zealand CHF is doing, and catch some shorts there. If we take a look at New Zealand CHF, you can see what this one's done. This one has broke support very, very well. Left it in the dust. So now I do expect it to keep falling back into the low here. And again, we'll pull back into a nice area for a lower high. So hopefully I can find some shorts there and take it back into 0.504 and back into the low there at 0.49. But like I said, not taking the trade because I don't want to double up on CHF strength, because I might as well just double my risk on Euro CHF. Inverse head and shoulder on the daily time frame. Let me go have a look. Oh, that is not Aussie CHF. Okay, there's two patterns which you could be talking about. Are you talking about this one here? Or are you talking about the larger pattern, which is left head, right shoulder? Let me know which one you're talking about. If you're talking about this one, yeah, could be. Very much could be. The idea with a head and shoulder pattern is that we form a low, lower low, then a higher low, and that could very much be it. For it to be confirmed, price would have to take out this high here, which is the neckline, of course. If price can take out that, then yeah, we very much got an inverse head and shoulder pattern. And then you could be looking at something like this and some buys to take it back up again. That looks like a great area for some buys. There's your first low, there's your second low, higher low. Of course, there's your third, and that could be a really nice trade to take. So the market could definitely go both ways. What I'm saying is based on higher time frame analysis, and what the market has been doing in the past is likely to repeat itself. This inverse head and shoulder pattern could give us a move up. Maybe the market wants to consolidate some more. I'm talking about the break of that support. Maybe we do push back up to the highs first. Then maybe we go and break it on the next attempt. What I'm talking about is the overall move of the market, which could happen in the next couple of days, could happen maybe in the next couple of months. Maybe price wants to keep moving sideways for a little bit longer before we do get the breakout. So yeah, 100% that could be an inverse head and shoulder pattern. But to get the confirmation of that pattern, you want to wait for price to break the neckline. Sure, you can try and anticipate the right shoulder forming. It's a bit more riskier, but of course, if it plays out, you maximize your risk to reward. But if we do snap through that, then yeah, 100% that is a inverse head and shoulder pattern, and you can look to take some buys. I'm just very bearish because that's where the higher time frames are pointing, and because I know when I get into my trades, I want to hold them for as long as possible. In a bearish market like this, it doesn't make too much sense to hold bullish trades for too long, because the chances are the bearish momentum is going to step back in at some point. But if you're looking for a trade for a day or a couple of days, or even 2 or 3 days, you probably get away with some nice buys, ride it back into the high there, take profit, but then we probably will sell off again. But yeah, that could be a really nice trade and then breaking me test somewhere. So yeah, 100%. But I'm bearish because of the higher time frames. I'm not bearish because of what we're doing on the daily or the 4 hour. I'm looking at the weekly, the monthly, the overall trend. It does take us down. So that's where the bearish bias comes from. On the 4 hour chart, I would not be looking to sell at all. Like I said, still respecting major support. Structure's looking very, very weak right now. In terms of the momentum, it's not looking attractive to sell. We did have a nice drop here, but like I said, it never really got going, so it's not really looking good to short anyway. So yeah, for me, I'll be waiting patiently, and hopefully that can develop pretty soon. But for now, only in Euro CHF. So we'll see how that gets going. If I do get into another trade, it will be Euro Yen, which is technically doubling up on the yen pairs, but I don't mind too much with it, because it is with the yen. Because the way I group the markets is yen, USD, CHF, CAD, and the crosses. So as long as I don't take another trade from that group, so for example, this is the CHF pairs. I wouldn't take another trade from the CHF pairs until the original trade is break even, but I can go and take another trade from one of these other groups. So the yen pairs, USD pairs, CAD pairs, crosses, CHF pairs are the groups I look at. Of course, there are some links and overlaps of them, like Euro CHF is overlapped a bit with Euro Yen. Both have the Euro currency. CHF JPY is overlapped with the CHF crosses because CHF is there as well. So on and so forth. Euro CAD is kind of overlapped with CAD Yen. Both have CAD, but with CAD Yen, I see it as a Yen pair. Euro CAD, I see that as a CAD pair, and that's how I group my markets. So I wouldn't mind getting involved in Euro Yen if I do get another trade there, another entry signal. Same with Euro Pound as well. Yeah, pound yen, I'm also looking for that move to the downside, but got to be patient. How's US 30 looking? Is that breaking back above the support level? Yeah, it did. So I'd watch out for the indices, although they've had a really nice push the past kind of 24 hours, breaking back above support. But these guys are still putting in lower highs as well. So until they kind of break this counter trend line, which is kind of running through the market like that, if these guys can break to the upside, sure, we could be very much in the business of a lot more upside, and could be discussing, price coming back to the all-time highs there. But we need to break through that kind of trend line. If I go to the NAS, we're doing the same thing as well. It was a nice recovery above support, but watch out for that high there. Could easily form another one in the big drop. If I go to the S&P as well, same situation here as well. Lovely lower highs, 1, 2, could be forming a third one. So yeah, watch out for that. But if you do break the counter trend line, sure, we could be talking about the highs there and seeing if we can really hold this to some new highs there too. But this is still powerful support. If we stay above, it does keep me bullish on the short term, at least till we get those get into those lower highs. So I still think this is a nice opportunity to look at for the S&P. If I go to the NAS, I still think this is a nice opportunity to look at for the NAS, another retest of that low. As long as we can stay above this, buys look good. I think that looks like a good target. How are we looking on the DAX? I haven't looked at the DAX in a while. I haven't looked at this one since last week. Okay, so we did have a bit of a dip, but overall the market is still looking pretty bullish. But yeah, I wouldn't necessarily be looking to buy this one right now because it's back at the highs. The time and place to buy the DAX was back down here. That ship has sailed. So really what I want to see is price break the highs, and then we can start to discuss the next pullback afterwards. But yeah, overall, the DAX is still looking really strong here. So yeah, more upside for the DAX. How's the UK 100 doing? Still ranging. I do expect this to eventually break out, but it's still very, very flat. But yeah, indices to me overall bullish 100%. Yeah, do expect them to go back to higher highs, but US 30, NAS, I do think there's some corrections for them because of the lower highs we are forming. So I'd watch out for that. Of course, if we do break through those counter trend lines, then yeah, we're back bullish again, looking for a lot more upside. But have to be careful. But we do have some news today, ladies and gentlemen. We do have some news at 1:30, I believe, which is PPI. Let me just double check. Yeah, so watch out for that. I'm going to keep an eye out for that. I'm looking for USD weakness. Not necessarily because I'm looking to short the dollar, but I'm looking for some counter trend moves here so I can take some bigger pullbacks because euro is still so bearish. Pound is still so bearish. And I need these guys to pull back if I'm going to find a trade from somewhere. So I'm kind of hoping for some USD weakness so pound can push up, dollar CAD can retrace, and I can find some pullbacks there. So I'm liking the USD pairs. I'm just hoping for some USD weakness in the next few days for some pullbacks. But my main focus, as in right now, will definitely be Euro Yen. That's right next to my zone. And if it does get up in there, react, I will look for some entries there to short Euro Yen. So that's going to be my main focus, but of course managing Euro CHF as well. But guys, we have reached the end of the stream. If you guys have enjoyed it, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. Appreciate everyone who has done that so far. Of course, make sure you do go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future as well. Make sure you do check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. You can find the link to that in the description below at the top of the chat. Join the Discord, chat with other traders, including myself. I share ideas there, my opinions as well. So if you are interested in finding out a bit more about Elevating Traders, chatting with other traders as well, that is the place to be. So make sure you go check it out. Completely free to join, as I said. But as always, we'll be live again tomorrow, every weekday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. So if you're free, make sure you pop in, say hi. But guys, have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.